What's going on, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today we're going to be talking about how you can actually buy repos from the bank. I get asked this question all the time. How do I do it? Where do I go? All this other stuff. So we're going to explain all that and a whole lot more. So make sure you stay tuned to the whole video because I'm going to explain a lot of reasons why banks will not want to work with you, what you should do to overcome this, and how to actually build a profitable business buying repos directly from the bank so you don't have to really worry about the auction. Now, this has been probably one of the most asked questions I get all the time. How do I buy repos like this from the banks directly? Now, I'm going to tell you some of the good and some of the bad things you have to do. At the end of the day, banks are always approached by people that want to buy their cars. It's just something that always happens. They get tons of wholesalers, brokers, dealers, regular people saying, hey, give me your cars. I want to buy your car. Give me a deal. Give me a deal. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Banks hate dealers, wholesalers, auto brokers, all that other stuff, because all you guys do is basically go in there and lowball the shit out of everybody, and it absolutely irritates them. So don't ever do that. You know, I always tell people you need to come up with a plan to show the bank that you are in it with them. How are you going to actually benefit them? How are you going to help them make money? How are you going to make the process easier? This is the way you mentally need to approach going to banks trying to buy repos. One of the things that I like to do is, hey, we have a tow truck. We'll come pick those cars up for you. We'll pick them up from the repo yard. We'll pick them up from a tow yard. We'll pick them up if people just leave them abandoned on the side of the road. What can you do to leverage your position to show that you're a benefit to them instead of just some clown that's going to throw them a bunch of numbers and lowball them on every single car? Second thing, you need to have capital. I know everybody wants to buy one car. I want to get a screaming deal. I want to steal this car. I want to rip this car. I want to offer $2,000 for this, 15 Malibu. It doesn't work that way. Banks don't want to deal with one idiot at a time. The whole thing is if you have a large chunk of capital, what I do is I'm like, hey, look, I'm going to make your life easy. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to buy every single car. The good, the bad, the ugly. A lot of wholesalers, a lot of brokers, all they want are the cream puffs or the cherries. Stuff that's super clean, that's super nice, that they can retail right away. Now, here's my advice to you. If you're only buying the very, very nice cars, the super, super clean cars, and the cars that are absolutely cream puffs and cherries, the banks could sell those at the auctions. Why should they sell to you? I don't know why a lot of these wholesalers don't think this way. So banks are starting to walk away from wholesalers and brokers like this because it's no benefit. When they cherry pick all the good stuff and take all their leverage away from dealers and the auctions and they're left with just a bunch of junk, how are they supposed to get rid of it? And that's where you come in. So a lot of the companies I work with, that's part of my deal. I will buy every single car. A lot of cars that I did, like that BMW you saw in the beginning, I bought it without keys. They couldn't get a hold of a locksmith. Their locksmith wasn't able to make a key. I told them I will buy it as is, where is, how is, and they had like 4 other cars with no keys. I took them all just because I wanted to make their life easier. Now, something else you guys need to know is this is not something you could just jump into magically all of a sudden. I get in the comment section all the time, I can't buy cars, my bank tells me no. If you're a true salesman and you work at your craft and you want to build a relationship and build a rapport with the bank, it takes months, it takes years. If you guys watch my videos, I made the whole joke about bringing donuts. I've literally bought donuts to some title loan companies and some banks for years before they gave me an opportunity to purchase cars from them. And that's the way it is. Just imagine you're trying to chase a really pretty girl that everybody else is chasing. You got to go the extra effort and show that you're different and you're special. The same thing is exactly the same for these banks. They want to know, why should they give you the business? Why should they give it to somebody else? You need to prove to them that you're special, and not only special like you think you're cool, you need to show them, I'm going to help you ease your business. I'm going to do whatever it takes to take the biggest load off of your business so you can get out and lend money, because that's what banks do. They don't want to deal with this shit about buying repos and dealing with wholesalers and banks and auction houses. They're in the business of selling money. They want to give you a loan, make their interest, and never have to deal with you. So if you can figure out somewhere along that process that you can help them and benefit them, then more than likely they will come to you and do some sort of a deal. Now, when it comes to basically courting these banks, you need to keep an open mind. Like I said, some of these banks took me over a year just to actually do a deal with them. Going up multiple times, bringing donuts, every time they had problems. And, one time the guy talked about his locksmith overcharging him. I was like, no problem, here's my locksmith. Here's his number, he's a great guy, tell him Lucky sent you, he'll give you great prices. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I'll fix that car for you. It's a common problem when there's low voltage. I'll reset the light and the car will work fine. So one of the other things that I did that actually showed value and helped banks pick me compared to all the other dealers is I would tell them, hey, let me help you with this car. So let's say this Dodge, or excuse me, this Chevy van, I'll buy it as is. Like this one I bought as is, no keys, whatever else, and it's running and driving. I'm just waiting for the paperwork to come in. But I'll buy a car like that and I'll say, hey, look, if I get it running, I'll buy it right now for $2,000 as is to clear your books. If it doesn't run, my problem. If it does run, I'll come back and give you $1,000 more once I make the key. A lot of the banks laughed and said, well, no, you're not going to do that. Why would you go out of your way to pay us more for a vehicle? And I told them, I want to build your trust. I want to build a relationship. A few of these cars I did that way. I came back and I gave them money. Hey, you know what? This car, all it needed was a fuse. They jumped it wrong at the auction. It runs and drives fine. Here's an extra $1,000, extra $1,500. I did this on purpose because I wanted to show them that they could trust me. So when I tell them that, let's say, you know, this Genesis, the tranny's bad, they'll believe me instead of me trying to talk them down to save a bunch of money. Because you car flippers, you wholesalers, you irritate the shit out of people and banks. Oh, look at this car. This is wrong. This is bad. This is garbage. Sorry, plane's flying over. But you hear all that stuff over and over again, and it irritates banks. Banks don't want to deal with that shit. They want to know, okay, I'm going to get this money. How do I trust this guy? They'd rather not sell this car to you thinking you're lying to them and just take it to the auction. So it takes time, like I said, to build that relationship so you can buy from them. Now, if you're a regular person, pay attention. There are some banks and some credit unions that offer special deals to their members. So here in Las Vegas, there's a thing called Clark County Credit Union, and all their repos, they actually sell to their members. They give them first dibs on the car. They get a great interest rate. They can pick up the car from the bank. And so it helps that ecosystem of theirs kind of build out buying repos and doing that. You can check with your local bank or credit union to see if yourself could do something like that. Now, offer to purchase it from them and just see where it goes. Do not lowball these people. I'm telling you. I can't stand you wholesalers and brokers that lowball the shit out of everybody. You think you're smart, but you're actually hurting yourself. And I'll be honest with you, and I'll tell you a little trade secret, because I know none of you guys will do this because they're too cheap. I overpay on some cars just to get my foot in the door. All the time. I walk into a new bank, a new title loan company, and they're like, well, how do we know you're going to pay? I'll purposely overpay for a handful of cars just so I can get my foot in the door so I can start doing business with them, because I know that these cheap bastards will not spend $1 more to buy a car. So you can kind of set yourself apart from there. But I'm telling you over and over again, I know I sound like a broken record, do not lowball the banks. The banks know a lot more than you do, believe it or not, about what they could sell the car for and what their options are. Because if they keep the paper in-house, they can refinance it to one of their other customers. They could take it to the auction and probably get full retail. Why are they going to sell it to you for a deep discounted price? Now, if the car's banged up, has a bad motor, has a bad transmission, you can work on those things with the price, but you don't beat up the car. You need to come from a prospect of actually building knowledge and sharing information. Hey, you know what, guys? Unfortunately, this Genesis has a bad transmission. Good news, I can put one in for you for $700. LKQ's got one. I'll charge you $250 to install it. You'll be all in under $1,000 with fluid. How's that sound? And you guys can probably retail it for $8,000 at the auction. You know, would you guys like to do that, or do you want to sell it to me for like $2,500? Up to you, whatever you guys decide. You could help them fix their cars. That's another way. I've done that with quite a few banks. They won't even sell me their cars. They just pay me to fix them, and then I help them basically run at auction. After they run at auction once or twice, if they can't sell them, then they finally give me the option to buy them. But like I said, you need to position yourself to help the bank, not just to be another idiot offering a low price. So if you have any questions or concerns, put in the comment section below. I love to get your guys' feedback. I love the interaction we're getting from a lot of people talking about the car business. I love this. This is the whole purpose of this channel, is to be transparent about the automotive industry, and you guys coming back with good emails, questions, stuff like this really makes my day. Also, I am going to be in Henderson tonight on Water Street. There is a big classic car show. It's anywhere from 300 to 500 classic cars. I'll be there. So if you're in Las Vegas or in the Henderson area, come by, say hi. I'll be out there all night. Also, I'll be doing consulting calls. Check my email description down below. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Lucky Lopez, and we'll see you next video.